He grinned. Damn if I haven't missed you. She was smiling when she sat down to work. Damn if she hadn't missed him too. Chapter 4. The blue squirrel was one teetering step up from the 5 moons. Eve had a cautious affection for it. There were times she even enjoyed the noise, the press of bodies, and the ever-changing costumes of the clientele. Most of the time, she enjoyed the stage show. The featured singer was one of the rare people Eve considered a genuine friend. The friendship might have had its roots in Eve's arrest of Mavis Freestone several years earlier, but it had flowered nonetheless. Mavis might have gone straight, but she would never go ordinary. Tonight, the slim, exuberant woman was screeching out her lyrics against the scream of trumpets, the brass waved by a 3-piece female band on the holoscreen backdrop. That, and the quality of the single wine Eve had risked, were enough to make her eyes water. For tonight's show, Mavis's hair was a stunning emerald green. Eve knew Mavis preferred jewel colors. She continued the theme with the single swatch of glistening sapphire material she had somehow draped over herself to cover one generous breast and her crotch. The other breast was decorated with shimmering stones, with a strategically placed silver star over the nipple. One misplaced stud or swatch, and the blue squirrel could be fined for exceeding its license. The proprietors weren't willing to pay the hefty fee for nude class. When Mavis whirled, Eve saw that the singer's heart-shaped butt was similarly decorated on each slim cheek. Just, she mused, within the limits of the law. The crowd loved her. When she stepped from the stage after her set, it was to thunderous applause and drunken cheers. Patrons in the private smoking booths thumped fists enthusiastically on their tiny tables. "How do you sit down in that?" Eve asked when Mavis arrived at her booth. "Slowly, carefully, and with great discomfort," Mavis demonstrated, then let out a sigh. "What'd you think of the last number?" "A real crowd pleaser." "I wrote it." "No shit!" Eve hadn't understood a single word, but pride swelled nonetheless. "That's great, Mavis. I'm awed. I might have a shot at a recording contract." Beneath the glitter on her face, Mavis's cheeks flushed. "And I got a raise." "Well, here's to it." In toast, Eve lifted her glass. "I didn't know you were coming in tonight." Mavis punched her code into the menu and ordered bubble water. She had to baby her throat for the next set. "I'm meeting someone." "Rourke?" Mavis's eyes, currently green, shone. "Is he coming? I'll have to do that last number again." "He's in Australia. I'm meeting Nadine first." Mavis's disappointment at the opportunity to impress Rourke shifted quickly to surprise. "You're meeting a reporter? On purpose?" "I can trust her." Eve lifted a shoulder. "I can use her." "If you say so." "Hey, you think maybe she'd do a piece on me?" Not for worlds would Eve have extinguished the light in Mavis's eyes. "I'll mention it." "Decent. Listen, tomorrow's my night off. Want to catch some dinner or hang someplace?" "If I can manage it. But I thought you were seeing that performance artist, the one with the pet monkey." "Flicked him off." Mavis illustrated by brushing a finger over her bare shoulder. "He was just too static." "Gotta go." She slid out of the booth, her butt decor making little scraping sounds. Her emerald hair gleamed in the swirling lights as she edged through the crowd. Eve decided she didn't want to know what Mavis considered too static. When her communicator hummed, Eve pulled it out and punched in her code. Rourke's face filled the mini-screen. Her first reaction, unbidden, was a huge, delighted smile. "Lieutenant, I've tracked you down." "Apparently so." She worked on dimming the smile. "This is an official channel, Rourke." "Is it?" His brow lifted. "It doesn't sound like official surroundings." "The blue squirrel?" "I'm meeting someone." "How's Australia?" "Crowded. With luck, I'll be back within 36 hours. "I'll find you." "I'm not hard to find." She smiled again. "Obviously." "Listen." To amuse them both, she tilted the unit as Mavis roared into her next set. "Shh." She's unique, Rourke managed after several bars. Give her my best. I will. I'll, see you when you get back. Count on it. You'll think of me. Sure. Safe trip, Rourke. Eve, I love you. She let out a baffled breath when his image dissolved. Well, well. Nadine first moved from her position behind Eve's shoulder and slid into the booth opposite. Wasn't that sweet? Torn between annoyance and embarrassment, Eve jammed her communicator back in her pocket. I thought you had more class than to eavesdrop. Any reporter worth her salary eavesdrops, Lieutenant. Just like a good cop. Nadine stretched back in the booth. So, what does it feel like to have a man like Rourke in love with you? Even if she could have explained it, Eve wouldn't have. Thinking of switching from hard news to the romance channel, Nadine? Nadine merely held up a hand, then let out a sigh when she scanned the club. I can't believe you wanted to meet here again. The food's terrible. But the atmosphere, Nadine, the atmosphere. Mavis hit a piercing note, and Nadine shuddered. Fine. It's your deal. You got back on planet quickly. I managed to catch a flash transport. One of your boyfriends. Rourke's not a boy. You're telling me. Anyway. Nadine waved that away. She was obviously tired and a little lagged. I've got to eat, even if it kills me. She scanned the menu and settled dubiously on the stuffed shells supreme. What are you drinking? Number 54. It's supposed to be a Chardonnay. Experimentally, Eve sipped again. It's at least 3 steps up from horse piss. I recommend it. Fine. Nadine programmed her order and sat back again. I was able to access all the data available on the Towers homicide on the trip back. Everything the media has broadcast so far. Morse know you're back? Nadine's smile was thin and feral. Oh, he knows. I've got seniority on the crime beat. I'm in, he's out. And is he pissed? Then my mission is a success. But it's not complete. You promised an exclusive. And I'll deliver. Eve studied the noodle dish that slid through the serving slot. It didn't look half bad. Under my terms, Nadine. What I feed you, you broadcast when I give you the light. What else is new? Nadine sampled the first shell, decided it was nearly palatable. I'll see that you get more data and that you get it ahead of the pack. And when you've got a suspect, you'll get the name first. Trusting Eve's word, Nadine nodded as she forked up another shell. Plus a one-on-one with the suspect and another with you. I can't guarantee the suspect. You know I can't, Eve continued before Nadine could interrupt. The perp has rights to choose his own media or to refuse it all. The best I can do is suggest, maybe even encourage. I want pictures. Don't tell me you can't guarantee. You can find a way to see that I get video of the arrest. I want to be on the scene. I'll weigh that in when the time comes. In exchange, I want everything you have, every tip that comes in, every rumor, every story lead, no broadcast surprises. Nadine slipped pasta between her lips. I can't guarantee, she said sweetly. My associates have their own agenda. What you know, when you know it, Eve said flatly. And anything that comes out of intramedia espionage. At Nadine's innocent expression, Eve snorted. Stations spy on stations, reporters spy on reporters. Getting the story on air first is the name of the game. You've got a good batting average, Nadine, or I wouldn't be bothering with you. I'll say the same. Nadine sipped her wine. And for the most part, I trust you, even if you have no taste in wine. This is barely 1 step up from horse piss. Eve sat back and laughed. It felt good. It felt easy. And when Nadine grinned in return, they had a deal. Let me see yours, Nadine requested, and I'll let you see mine. The biggest thing I've got, Eve began, is a missing umbrella. Eve met Feeney at Cicely Towers' apartment at 10 the following morning. One look at his hangdog expression, and she knew the news wasn't going to be sunny. What wall did you hit? On the link.